Great. Well, thanks again, Michelle, for coming on the training. My name is Abby Hess. I'm your Inside Strategic Account Manager at ECPI. For the agenda for today, hopefully we can get done before the hour's up, but there is a lot to go into and that you can explore after this call if you'd like. But we're going to quickly go through the support services that we'll provide throughout the term while you're using MindTap, as well as your Cengage team. In addition to me, there's quite a few other people that can help you out. We'll quickly go into the Instructor Resource Center. Now, that has resources for any Cengage book that you might be using. So you might be familiar with that, but we'll just make sure. And then we'll get into a MindTap demo course. Your course is going to be set up for you inside Canvas, so I'll show it to you that way so that it looks very similar to what you'll be seeing. We'll go through how to navigate through MindTap, the ebook, which is interactive, how you can add any activities or assets yourself if you'd like, and then some of the assignments that students will work through. So for our Microsoft, sorry, can you hear me? Oh, so we have someone else on the line? Oh, got it. Well, interrupt me if you ever can't hear or something, okay? And I'll slow down. But basically, the assignments that you'll get in your MindTap for the Microsoft Office courses are called SAM assignments. That stands for Skills Assessment Manager. We have trainings, exams, and projects that students are going to work through. So I'll show you what those look like, as well as the reports that you can pull as an instructor to get more information about your students, the gradebook and analytics, and how you'll activate the course within Canvas for yourself. Okay, so if you have questions throughout the whole thing, feel free to stop me. That's completely fine. So your support, yep. Okay. Okay, so you're in your Canvas course right now? Okay, cool. So we'll jump into that shortly. Okay, and then yeah, let me know if you need help with anything. I just want to let you know that besides myself, this is me down here, you've got other people who can help you out here at Cengage. Sandra McKelvey is also an account manager. You might see her on campus from time to time. Cindy Bridges, I think you were already emailing and might have spoken to her. She's our Enterprise Digital Specialist and basically our guru for MindTap as well as Canvas. And then you've also got Jeanette Wilson, and Jeanette is the one who has actually built out the MindTap course to your school's specifications. So she is our expert in scheduling assignments, making sure that everything is working in Canvas, and she's actually created that course for you. So if you ever have questions, she's also an awesome resource. All of us work together to give you guys support before you start using this with your trainings and things like that, during the term, and then even afterwards. So just know that you're going to have this one training here. You'll have a services site that you can go to and watch videos. But if you want to talk to someone, all four of us are here. I'm in the Boston office, sitting by my desk waiting for people to call. So feel free to shoot me a line, and I'm happy to walk you through anything. Okay? Okay, cool. So while we're going through the training and you're seeing all these assets, keep in mind, maybe how you want to use some of the reporting and analytics that MindTap can provide. There's a lot of stuff in here. You probably won't use all of it, but keep note of what things you might want to try out. If there's any other media or assets you usually like to incorporate in your courses that you want to add into MindTap, I can show you how to do that. Any questions, obviously, stop me. And if there's any other supporting materials that we can provide your students on day one to make sure that they're having a good time looking around in MindTap. Okay? So now I'm going to hop in to the Canvas course. So I'm in a CIS 115 kind of sandbox course here, where you're going to see everything will be in the modules section. So are you in your modules section right now? Okay, cool. So looking at this, there's a whole bunch of cool stuff in this course. when you see things that are green with that link icon, most of those are going to end up being MindTap assets, right? So right here under course technology, this is the main link that will take you into your MindTap course. And then you'll see as you go through the different units, students have specific assignments that they're going to have to work through, right? So here is an exam, SAM path assignment that students are going to work on. Keep going down. There's going to be a project that students are going to work on in Unit 2. So these are linked specifically to your MindTap course, and they will take students in. Since you're in there right now, why don't we quickly walk through how you will link your course in Canvas. So Cindy has sent out this PDF, which is super, super useful. So basically, this course that I was showing you is already created. You just have to go in there and then link your course to the course that I'm showing you. And these are the steps that will help you do it, okay? So this is a simple, simple walkthrough. Do you actually want to do it right now while we're on the phone? Okay, cool. So you're in your Canvas account, right? And you've clicked into modules. So can you find, really any of the MindTap links will work, but to make this easier, why don't you go into the MindTap course link under course technology? Do you see that one? Okay, great. So why don't you give that a click? Okay, cool. So after that comes up, you should see, once it probably has to load, but you should see this authorize button. Do you see that? Okay. Okay, so you've probably already clicked that point and clicked authorize. Oh, cool. You might have already done all this. Did you already log into your Cengage account? Okay, great, great. Moving along. Okay, so then you would have registered it. Now, did you get to the screen that asked you to create a course? Okay, so this is the crucial point here. At this point, you would need to click copy from another instructor's course, because then you're going to copy out the course that was made for this. Did you click create a new MindTap course by chance? Okay, that's all right. So all that we're gonna have to do is I'm gonna contact Jeanette, and if it's okay, she's just gonna disconnect that course that you created, so then we can connect you to the course that was pre-made. That's okay. I mean, you were doing all the right steps if you were gonna create it on your own, but so you don't have to do the work of customizing everything. We can just relink that for you. Is that okay? Okay. Yeah, no, you're doing good. You did basically all of it by yourself. So how about after this call, I have your email address, Michelle. I'll have Jeanette, who is the one who sets these up, just unlink your Canvas course from the one that you created, and then link it to the actual course that was created for this. Is that all right? Okay, cool. So these instructions are here if you ever have to do it again, but you basically did it all by yourself anyway, so nice job. So we'll get that set up for you. In the meantime, you might not see all of these links, so do you not see all of these links in your course right now? Michelle? Okay, yeah, no problem, no problem. Okay, when you click on one of those links, does it open up? Sure. Yeah, so maybe the easiest way to see is if you go to that course technology where the MindTap course link is, open that one up. Okay. Yep. Yep. So click yes. Just so you know, any of the links that are linking out to assignments in MindTap will open in a new window. So sometimes, you have to turn off your pop-up blocker the first time. And that's something that you might have to tell students if they're like, nothing's opening up. That's probably it. Their browser's probably blocking it, and they'll just have to shut it off one time. Have you come to a screen that looks somewhat like this at all? Okay, great. Okay, great. So when you're looking at it, do you see how I have some that are automatically grayed out? Do you have that? Are they gray? Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, so that's a week by week view. We got rid of that view for the course that you're going to use because students will be walking through unit by unit in Canvas. Sometimes that weekly view is really good when students aren't linked to a learning management system like Canvas, right? So they can see what they have to do each week. If you go up here to the top, up by where it says the name of the book, you'll see a word view, and there should be 3 icons. If you click the middle one that says unit view, you should get to what I'm seeing. Okay, cool. So this unit view, you can see in the course that I have and the course that you will have, you won't even have the week by week view because students are just going to be working link by link through their units in Canvas. But this second view, I think is the most helpful because it's going to be structured just like your book, right? So you've got the Office sections, Word, Excel, PowerPoint. You probably even see Access right now. In the course that we're going to have, you can see that they don't have the access and they've hidden certain things from students, right? So when you're an instructor in here, if you hover over any of those files or specific assignments, anything that's on the screen, you should see a little pencil and a little kind of a circle with a cross, with a stripe going through it appear. So that will allow you to edit this or hide it. If you click hide, it's going to gray out just like some of these things are here, and it will be hidden by from the students. It's not completely disappearing. It just means that students cannot see it when they log in. You can always bring it back by clicking this little eye icon that's going to let it show again, okay? But once you have the correct course in there, you'll see that some things are grayed out already because I guess those are particular parts of the book that you don't have to cover, okay? Does that make sense? Okay, awesome. So when you're looking at this, I showed you, there's a edit pencil tool there as well. If you want to add anything into your course, do you see the white plus sign that's up at the top next to the title of the book? So if you click that, only instructors have this, and you could add a folder, unit, activity. If you want to click add activity, I'll just show you this screen quickly. There's a bunch of different media assets that you can add. There's flashcards. Flashcards are pre-built for each chapter. If you want to add them right into the learning path for students to access, you can do that. You can add an RSS feed if you want students to be looking at current news articles, a YouTube video, a web link. SAM assignments, you shouldn't really have to worry about those because all the SAM assignments you're using in class are already going to be added to your Canvas course. But then you can also add things like if you have a Word document or an Excel spreadsheet or a picture or a video or something else that you like to use in class normally, you can also add that into MindTap right here. Okay, so that's a tool that's just there for instructors. Why don't we try clicking into the Microsoft Word folder, Word 2016. And once you click into one of these folders, you'll see all of the chapters that are available there. Right now, only Module 1 is visible for my students because I don't want them to be able to work ahead. I want them to focus on one module at a time. But I can always make these appear again later in class as I want them to. But if you click into any of those modules or chapters, I'm going to click into Word Chapter 1. you should see a reading, and then there will always be some trainings, exams, there'll be videos, and projects. Do you see those? Yeah, if you're in that first view, do you see a folder that says Word or Microsoft Word? These are probably renamed specifically to this course. Okay. Can you click the Microsoft Office folder? Did you say there was an Office 2016? Okay. Okay, so what we're going to have to do, Michelle, is make sure that after this call, you've got this specific course linked up into your Canvas course, okay? Okay, so we'll make sure you have that, and then you should see everything that I see on my screen here. It'll be exactly the same. Okay, but if you look at my screen, I want to walk you through what some of these assignments and what the ebook is like for students. So when you're in each module, you know, here in the Canvas course, you can get into the main course right here, but students are also going to be using their ebooks, and they're going to be getting into these SAM assignments. So if I'm just going to open up one of these readings right here, it always has the little book icon to let you know that it's a reading. And once this opens up, this ebook, the first time that I ever open up a chapter, it will take me to this hyperlinked table of contents, which is really great because, you know, you can quickly move to what section of the chapter you want to get to. And once I'm here in the text, this actually is more than just a flat ebook. It's got some annotation and note-taking tools for students as well. So if I'm reading along and I highlight any piece of text, I'll get this toolbar to open up. And you can see I can highlight in one of 4 colors, so maybe blue means something different from pink for me. But as an instructor, I also have a 5th color. So this orange highlight is only for instructors. If I decide to, you know, maybe a week before class, look at the chapter students are going to read next week, and I have certain sections in the text that I think are really important, I really want students to focus on that, I can highlight that in orange, and that will be a shared highlight. So now when any of my students come back into this ebook, they're going to see that highlight there, okay? So it's kind of a good way to communicate with students while they're reading. I also can highlight any portion of the text and add a note. Once I do this, this little sticky box is going to open up, and I can write whatever I want. This is really important, or whatever I want to say. And I can save that, and it'll stay right here in the margin, and I can always open it up to check it out. Again, if this is something that you want to share with students, I'm going to delete this particular note. Important. You'll see there's a little box right here that says share. If I click that and click save, now my notes turned orange, and again, it'll be a shared note. So when my students are coming through and they're reading, they'll be able to see that note there as well. So it's just a kind of neat way to keep students on track and kind of communicate with them while they're doing their homework. Besides notes and highlights, you'll notice that any of the key terms in the text will be automatically hyperlinked with the definition. All of these key terms also live as flashcards inside MindTap for students. So over here on the right is the Mind app doc. There's a bunch of different apps. We'll quickly go through them. Again, you might not use all of these, but it's definitely cool to check them out. This little one that looks like some index cards, these are the flashcards. And if I open these up, I'll be able to check out the flashcards for every single key term that's in this chapter. You can see with this little drop down, I can move to different chapters as well. But it's a really great way for students to study. Students still tell us that flashcards are their favorite way to be able to prepare for a test. Over here in the little cog wheel, I can decide if I want to see the key term first or the definition first, depending on how I want to study. And I can also print out that deck. So if I want to take this on the go, carry it around campus, carry it in the car or on the bus, I can study that way as well. Okay. So besides the key terms and the flashcards, if there's another word within the text that I'm not really sure what it means, I can highlight that word and I can click dictionary. And Merriam-Webster's dictionary is actually built right within MindTap. So instead of having to grab a dictionary or open myself up to the vortex of the internet to look up a word, I can literally just highlight it and get the definition right here. So that's a nice little tool for students. If I highlight any text, I can also have it read out loud to me. So this is the last thing you'll see here, read text. Once I do this, and you might be able to hear it, you'll see that each word will be lit up as it's read. Let me see.
It contains placeholder text, which you can replace with your own information.
So you can see how that can read out loud to me. If I want to have the entire page read out loud, I would just click this little speaking guy up at the top of the screen. And over here on the app bar, this is the Read Speaker app. It's supposed to be a little guy talking. If I open this up, I can change the reading speed if I want it to be a little faster, a little slower, and I can actually change it from a man to a woman as well. So however you want to listen, you have the ability to do that. And you can notice that these little tools here, I can also change the size of the text so that it's more comforting for me to read. I can add a bookmark to save a page, or I can even print a page out. So if there's a really helpful, table here that's telling me steps of how to do something, or a screenshot I want to save, I can print out that page as well. Okay. Something else I want to show you. You know how I showed you within the learning path or the main navigation screen of MindTap, you could add media assets. Something that's really neat is that you can do that right within the ebook as well. So up here by the chapter contents hyperlink, I've got a little pencil, and only the instructor has this. If I click the pencil, I'll see little plus signs appear within the ebook. Wherever there's a plus sign, I can add some type of media. So let's say I have something that really goes along well with navigating a document. I can add an RSS feed so that students are reading some articles. I can add a web link, anything of my own I want to share, or a YouTube video. Now let's use that because it's kind of the easiest thing to see as an example. So I'm not leaving MindTap and going out to YouTube and then copying something and embedding something else. It's right here, okay? So all I have to do is search, and I'm going to say Word 2016, whatever I want to search for. The videos will come up. They should come up in the same order as if you were in YouTube. And say that this is a video that I think is very helpful. I'm going to add my video, and I can add some text before and after. So I'm going to say, watch this before class. And you can really say whatever you want. If you want to make an assignment out of it and say, write a short summary to turn in, whatever you want to say. Click continue, and now this video is right in line with my ebook. So this is another way to really make sure that your students are doing their reading assignments. You can come into class and say, hey, what did you guys think about this video? Or you can make it a little assignment, but it's also just something to keep students involved. If you know of something that's been really helpful in the past for your students and you want to include it as part of their homework, this is a really good way to go about it so that you know that they're really checking out those readings. Do you have any questions about how I added that or any of the tools that we've seen in the ebook? Okay, good. That's my goal. Okay, good. Now the last thing I want to show you with the ebook, the first time I saw this I thought, okay, it's cool you can highlight and stuff, but how am I ever going to find that again, right? I'm moving page by page. How am I going to get back to that stuff that I said was important? Well, over here on the app bar, this one that looks like a little book with an orange highlighter, this is my favorite app. It's called Study Hub. And if I click this open, Study Hub is actually going to keep track of all of the notes and highlights that I've made throughout my entire book. So I've only read in Module 1 so far, and it's going to have the A heads here where I decided to take notes. And you'll see it'll literally list everything that I've highlighted or taken notes of. I can click this little blue arrow to get right back to that page. And I can even print this out and kind of use it as a nice outline of things that I thought were important in the chapter. Likewise, I can quickly find all of my bookmarks and get back to that place within the ebook. And this last portion, study guides, is something that's really nice to set up if I know that I have a test coming up. So let's say that I'm going to have a midterm for my students, and it's going to actually include information from all of the Word chapters. So I'll just quickly do this. I want to include all of the resources that are available inside Word Chapter 1, and I also want to include them for Word Chapter 2 because it's going to cover both chapters on this test. I include everything I want, click Create a Study Guide, and it's right here. So once I open this up, it's organizing everything for me. It will have, as a student, it would have my own highlights. It would also have the instructor's shared highlights if I wanted to include that. It'll have all of the key terms and their definitions. And it will include any custom flashcards that I might have made or any of my instructor's notes. So you can see that everything will be included in one spot. I can print it out as well to help me study. Okay, so those are some cool tools that students can use to really prepare for their quizzes. Okay, so were there any questions about Study Hub? Okay, cool. So now I'm quickly going to move into the homework assignments that your students are going to have that are automatically graded, okay? So the SAM assignments that we have, generally students will be able to take trainings, which is a simulated environment, and they're learning how to do specific tasks, right? And then they might take an exam for a quiz grade, and that's going to test and make sure that they do know how to do it, and they're going to prove within that simulated environment that they've learned how to do it. And then they'll also have a project where students are actually using their Microsoft application. They're really opening up Microsoft Word or really going into Microsoft Excel and making changes in an application document. For this course, we decided to take advantage of SAM Path, which is going to kind of be a more efficient experience for students. What SAM Path does is instead of making students walk through a training task by task for the entire chapter, right? Do all of it. And I mean, these start out at the most basic level. The first one might be, opening up a Microsoft Word document. You might have some students who have never done that before, and they do need to work through it and learn how to do that. But you might also have some students who are a little bit more advanced, right? And maybe they're a little bit more aware of how to use some basic tools in Word. What the SAM Path is going to let you do, students are going to start with an exam. So they're proving that they know how to do the task. And then once they work through that exam, they'll take a training remediation on any of the tasks that they got wrong. Okay? So they don't have to work through the whole training for everything and then taking an exam. They'll only be doing the training on the tasks that they got wrong. And once they complete that training, they'll take a second exam that's going to test them on those skills to make sure that they've learned everything. Okay? So that's kind of the experience students are going to have. I'll click into the SAM Path for Word Module 1 that we've got right here. So students will actually navigate to these, by clicking the assignment in Canvas, but it's going to take you to the same place. So anytime students are going to be completing an assignment, they'll have basic instructions. If there's a due date, it'll be there. This one is always available for students. I'll click Start. And because these exams and trainings are in a simulated environment, they're going to open up as a pop-up window. Again, students need to make sure that they have their pop-up blocker turned off if they don't see it. So this simulation is built completely in HTML5. It's our most realistic simulation that we've ever had. You'll see that you can drag and change the size of the screen, and the actual bar here will move with me, just like a real Microsoft application. I'm going to make it full screen so we can see it a little bit easier. So because this is a SAM Path, we're starting out with exams, and students are just basically told what they're supposed to do, and they have to prove that they can do it. So someone must have already taken the exam part of this, so now we're on the training. Let me actually open up another one so that we can start from the beginning here. Let me go into, this is going to be a little bit more difficult, but let me go into Excel. And once you've got your course set up in here, you can also go in and feel free to play around in these assignments. Try to take them yourselves. If you have any questions, feel free to shoot us an email. Okay, so you can see now here it's starting out. I'm going to basically prove that I can do these tasks. If I get something wrong, I'm going to get a training remediation as soon as I'm done. So I'm here in Excel. All it's going to give me are these task instructions. I need to change the page orientation of the current worksheet to landscape. Okay, good. I actually think I know how to do that. I can move these instructions around if they're blocking me or minimize them right here. Down here, you'll see that when I've finally complete with the entire assignment, I'll click submit, but I'm not ready to do that yet. These little options menu here with the 3 lines, this is really helpful because it will give me some basic shortcut keys that might be hard to remember at first. Those will be right here. If I have a Mac computer at home, or say, that I know someone who has a Mac, or I might expect to use a Mac in my future job, there's also going to be Mac hints here for students, which are really helpful. So, because Macs don't have a control key, they have to do something else. They have to use the Alt key instead. It just has quick reminders for when instructions might be slightly different for Mac users. So if you have any students with Mac, it's nice to point them out to check that out. But over here on the left, this helps me move through the entire assignment. So this task list will show me every task that I have to complete. Once I get something right, there will be a green check mark. If I attempt something and get it wrong, I'll get a red X. So I can see my progress throughout the entire time. So this was telling me to change the orientation to landscape. I think I know how to do that. So page layout, orientation, landscape. Correct. So as soon as I get that right, it's going to tell me and move me on to the next task. Let's see, what's this one? Without using parentheses, enter a formula in cell F4 that determines the annual net cash flow. Okay, so I'm definitely going to get this wrong. But let's say that I'm going to put in my equation here. And I got it wrong, right? That was obviously not the right equation. It's going to tell me that it's incorrect. I can move to the next task, or I can try it again. Students will be able to try this 3 different times. And the reason why it's set up to give them 3 attempts is because students might click somewhere, accidentally, and you don't want to have it be wrong for that. So 3 attempts is enough that they can't just click everywhere and magically, accidentally get it correct. They still have to kind of know how to get there. But just note that I can explore the entire ribbon. So even though, clicking into view might not help me with this, I can check out all of the options. Once I click something that's obviously not going to take me there, though, it will move me on to the next task. Okay, so do you have any questions how the basic simulation exam works in MyTab? Right, right. And that's because, I might be nervous and just, click something, but I know how to do this, and I'm going to go back. Yeah, so students will have 3 attempts to get each of these correct. Okay? So I'm going to click submit. I know that I have not completed everything, but I'm going to click OK, just so I can show you the training portion of this. So once I've completed that, now it's going to take me to the training portion, and it's going to show me all of the tasks that I did not get correct, right? Because the point of this is it's homework. I need to work through everything and show that I actually understand how to do each of these tasks. So the trainings are a little bit different. They're going to have 4 different modes that students will walk through, and it's just really to help out different types of learners to understand how to complete the task. So this is create a formula using arithmetic operators. So what I like about this first screen, the intro, it's basically going to give you a summary of what this task is and then the different methods to complete it. So this particular task really only has 1 method. You're going to use the keyboard. But if I go into a different task, there could be multiple ways to be able to complete a certain task. So see this selecting a cell, there's a whole bunch of different ways I might be able to do this, right? So it'll show me all of the methods that are available right here. If I do have a Mac computer and there is a specific way that I have to do it on a Mac, you'll see another little thing here that will say Mac hint, and then that will show students how to do it with a Mac computer. So if you do have students with a Mac at home, again, point them out, make sure they're checking out those Mac hints when they are available. The second mode is going to be an observe mode. It's a video, and I'm going to watch the task being completed.
Click cell D5.
And I'm going to turn this down because it's really loud. But you can see it's going to speak to me. It's also going to have this pop-up bubble that will show me what I need to do. And I can watch the task being completed. Sorry. Once I'm done watching it, I have this practice mode. Now the practice mode is exactly like the video, except it won't move forward until I'm actually completing the task. So it's telling me to click cell D5. Once I click it, now it's going to move forward. So you can see it's actually walking me through step by step how to complete the task. The fourth mode is exactly like the exams, right? I'm just giving instructions. I need to select cell D5 and I have to do it. So I can go back to observe or practice and try to get myself better at this. Say that, I took the exam and I messed up on the exam, but I went back and read before I came to do this training, and I know how to do it. I don't feel like I have to watch a video or practice it. I can go straight to apply mode if I want. It's completing apply mode that's going to give me the green check mark to move on in the training. So I need to select cell D5. Once I've done that, it's complete and moving me to the next task. You can see how this task turned like a green check mark as soon as I completed it. So, it's easy for students to see when they're 100% complete. And once I'd be done with this entire training, then I would click submit. Okay? And then what it would do is it would then give me a second exam on all of these tasks, and I'm going through and finally proving that I know how to do everything. Does that make sense? Is it confusing at all, the workflow that students are going to be going through? Yes. Yes. So there are different ways to grade it. You could take the score from the first test and then use that kind of as a grade. I believe, and I can get 100% clarification for you, but I believe that students' final grade will be how they do on the second test, right? So the second test is only going to test them on the task that they didn't know how to do in the beginning. So basically, overall, as long as they have proven that they know how to do the task on the pre-test or the post-test, they'll get a 100% for that task, okay? But it's the entire SAM path that they're being graded on. Does that make sense? So this is for the homework, right? So the idea is, that students are proving to you that they know how to do all the tasks in the homework. The way that student won't get 100, right, is if I took the pre-exam, I got maybe, let's say I got 5 wrong, I take a training, I do the training on all 5, okay, and then I'm doing the exam, and that's my final chance to prove again that I know how to do those 5 tasks. So at that point, if I get one of them wrong still, after I've done the training, then I wouldn't get 100% on that homework assignment. But it is really walking students through it. It's helping them focus on the tasks that they had issues with. And the goal is to, make sure that they know how to complete these assignments. But this is just a basic homework assignment. They're going to have other grades that are incorporating projects. Does that make sense? Okay, cool. So let me show you the projects. I'm sorry, my little bit of a cough right now. So in addition to the SAM paths, students are also going to have projects assigned where they're going to work within that specific application. So the Word project, they're going to be opening up a Word document. And I'll show you what this looks like. Okay, so what this is going to do is it's going to bring me to a screen that is going to show me all of the files that I need to complete this project. Previously, you would have to go to the Instructor Companion site, you'd have to download all the files, give them to students, or students would have to go to our website and find all of the student download files. They're all here for students. You don't have to put them in any special place. There's always going to be an instruction document that opens up as a Word file. So once I open this up, this will walk me through the specific scenario, and what I'll be doing in this project. So it's a film buff blog. I'm completing a blog post. It'll tell me, you know, the steps to get started, the files that I'm going to need, which are right here. And then it'll tell me the steps. So I'm going to bold something, I'm going to increase the font size, I'm going to decrease the font size, center something. The first chapter of Word is doing a lot of, you know, basic formatting skills. So it's going to tell me everything I have to do to it right here. I'll walk through all the tasks. And the final page on this document is going to give me an image of what it should look like when I'm going to turn it in. So I can't copy and paste this and make this my final project, but it's just a quick check for students, right? Say that I accidentally step the skip where I have to center this top heading. I'd be able to see right away, okay, yeah, I forgot to do something. I need to go back into the instructions and check it out again, okay? So those are the instruction file. Then I'll always have my start file. So since this is Microsoft Word, it's also going to open up a Word document. And this is the kind of source material that I'm starting with to format that blog post. You can see that right here, I'm in Jeanette Wilson, our coordinator's account. You can see that the Word document automatically has the student's name within the file, and the student's name is also automatically in the footer of the document. What this is doing is your file that you open up as a student is coded specifically to your MindTap account. So say that, you know, I did not take the time to complete my project. You're asking for me to turn it in by tomorrow, and I just don't want to do it. So I call my friend Megan and say, hey Megan, do you have the finished file for that project? Can you send it over to me? If I try to use Megan's file and rename it to my name, MindTap will detect it. If I try to take Megan's file and copy everything and then paste it into my file, MindTap will also detect that. So there's a report you can pull as an instructor to see which two students are involved if they're trying to kind of cheat by taking material from a different student's document. So it's nice to just let them know, like, hey, you know, if you're thinking about doing this, don't try, because I can figure it out and see who's done what, because each document is coded to that specific student. How I'm going to submit this, once I'm done making all of my edits to this, let's just say I know that this was like centered, this was bolded, I think it was like 14 font or something. After I've done everything to it that I have to do, I can submit it right here by making sure that it has the same file name and uploading it into MindTap. So all that I have to do, really, I'm going to save this file, save as, and I'll just, save it to my PC. All I'm going to have to do is change this 1 at the end of the title of the document to a 2. And you'll see right here, this is exactly the name of the document that it has to have for me to submit. I'm going to change that to a 2. And then I will be able to upload this and submit. Now, maybe I didn't remember where I sent this. Here we go. There's my file. Submit. And once I do, it's going to give me some green check marks, tell me that everything went through fine, and that my file is submitted. At this point, my file is going to be automatically graded by MindTap. So I can go into my grade book in Canvas and see my grade. The settings for this project are that I have 3 attempts to make it better. So I want to show you the kind of reports that students can pull to get a better grade and fix their mistakes. So once I'm done, I can actually go into this SAM app here as a student and pull a couple reports. So this is the instructor view. When I click in SAM, it's going to show me all of the assignments that I have available. I can check them out and see what they look like by clicking the little eye tool here and walk through that assignment. I can even see the files in the solution file if it's a project. I can edit the particular assignment here. Hopefully you shouldn't have to do that because it's all pre-created for you. But students will open it up and they'll actually see the assignments that they've been assigned specifically, and once they've completed it, they'll see some reports that they can pull. 2 that are really helpful for students. One for the project is this download submitted project report. So I'm going to show you an example of this. This was a project that a girl named Julie Brown, me pretending to be a girl named Julie Brown actually, submitted. It was an Excel project. And you can see that as soon as I was done, I went in to check my grade, and it told me that I got a 26 out of 100. So this will literally show you all the steps that you had to take to complete the project. It'll show you what you got right and what you got wrong and how many points that was worth, right? So the fact that I did not change the width of the column for the first task docked me 6 points. And then it'll also have notes here that'll show you what I should have done. So this is in Excel, so it's kind of set up like this. If it was a Microsoft Word document that I submitted, it'll actually be the little comment bubbles and track changes will be telling me what I should have done. My project is also always built into this report. So the actual tab that I was working on was this Pickup Analysis tab. This was the project. This is what I completed. You can see that it uses the little note tools or the commenting tools inside the Microsoft applications to show me what I did wrong. So specifically in this cell, I didn't do step 1 or step 3 correctly. In this cell, I didn't do step 10. The formulas in ranges C9 to E9 should contain the sum function. Okay, so I can easily see everything that I need to fix and what I didn't do correctly. So I can go back into my project, try to make these changes, and resubmit it for a better grade. Okay, so the idea with this is, that students get instant feedback. They can see what they did wrong. If they still have questions, they can come to you and ask, how can I make this better? And they have a lot more reason to go back and actually fix their mistakes and get a better grade, right? Because if they can do it instantly, see how they can make those changes and get in there and do it, they're a lot more likely to try to make the second attempt. Does that make sense, that report and how the projects work? Do you think that your students would go in and try to get a better grade using a report like that? Yeah. Yeah. Well, the students who make a little bit more work, hopefully they'll go in and do the second step. Another report that students can pull when they're taking a SAM path or whenever they would take an exam would be the study guide report. And I think this is really, really cool. This is an example of what one would look like. So let's say I took an exam or a SAM path, right? And I want to go back in there and do it better. So say I took my pre-exam and I'm working through my trainings. The SAM path pretty much already does this for you, but it will show me all of the tasks that I was supposed to complete, whether I actually completed it, if I skipped it, or if I got it wrong. And then it'll give me links to remediation for that particular task. So, I wasn't able to add a 3-point box page border to my document. These remediation links will take me to the specific pages in the ebook that will show me how to do that task so I can read over that again, or I can launch the specific training for that task. So this report really helps students study. Again, it's showing them which task they didn't get correct and giving them resources to be able to relearn how to complete that task correctly. Okay, so students would be able to find both those reports just by clicking into the SAM app. They'll be under SAM assignments, and they'll see their assignments that they just completed, and they literally pop up as icons over here. As an instructor, you can use this SAM icon to be able to pull reports for your entire class. So if I go into results right here, I'm in the reports section. I can pull a report on basically anything that students are doing. So your students will only be doing projects and SAM paths. I could click SAM path and select one of 3 different reports here. Now, I don't have any students built into my course, so I can't really grab any data right now, but you can get reports on how one individual student did on that path. You can get results on an entire section, right? So if you want to see, across my entire section, what were some of the tasks that they struggled with on the pre-test? What were some of the tasks that they struggled with in the training, or even by the post-test? What things do I maybe want to spend a little bit more time on or go over with my students again. In projects, similar thing. You'll be able to pull that specific report that I showed you that students can use to do a better job. You can pull that for yourself. You can also pull the specific file that the student downloaded. So just because students are completing a project and then, downloading it into my tab, you still have the ability to open that up and take a look at it. You can also look at results by your entire section or by a single student. The frequency analysis is nice because it will show you, okay, you know, there were 10 tasks that students had to complete in this project. 50% of them got this one correct. Only 20% of them got this one correct. You know, so it's another easy way to quickly see what are tasks that you might want to go back to or focus a little bit more on in class. Okay, do you have any questions about those? You won't have to worry about exams or trainings because your students are really only using the path and the projects. Are you good on that? Okay, awesome. Okay, so we're almost through this whole thing. I quickly want to show you a little bit more about these other icons that are here. They're helpful to you and they might be helpful to your students as well. This top one here is a magnifying glass. Obviously, it's a search tool. This allows you to search for page numbers, content, or even your own content. So any notes that you might have added for yourself, whether it's in the ebook or in assignments, you'll be able to look that up. So let's say I'm going to type in border. Okay, right here it'll give me, you know, the key terms, but it'll also show me the pages in the ebook where I'll find that. In RSS feeds, here, if you do add any RSS feeds, so if you want students to have a live feed of articles that are pertaining to a certain topic to check out, you can do that here, and then they will all live in this area. If you want to learn more about that, we can definitely go into that in more detail. You've got your dictionary that we've already gone through, as well as your glossary. So the entire glossary for the book will open up right here. This little orange diamond, Connect Yard. This is nice. I know that you were using discussions in Canvas, and Canvas has some great functionality to have student discussions. Why you might want to use Connect Yard? Connect Yard is also another tool where you can have discussions with students. Students can talk to each other. It's kind of like a social media platform. But the cool thing is when you first click onto this app, it'll ask you to set up your profile. And in your profile, you tell Connect Yard what your preferred method of communication is. So the cool thing about this is I'm sure your students all have an ECPI email address. Maybe you have some students who never check it, right? They forget to look at that. Maybe they would respond faster if they were, you know, sent their personal email address, or maybe they only ever look at text messages, or even if they only ever respond to Twitter messages or tweets or Facebook or LinkedIn. Students literally put in their preferred method of communication, whether it's any of those things. And then as the instructor, you can write a message to your entire course. Let's say like a class is canceled today, something you want everyone to know pretty quickly. I can post that to my entire class, and that's going to be sent to my students by their preferred method of communication. So I don't have to know my student's cell phone number. I don't have to be Facebook friends with them. I don't have to be LinkedIn with them, but they'll be able to see it right away. So that's one reason why you might want to use Connect Yard. PathBright, students automatically get a PathBright account with this. If you choose to use it, it's basically a visual portfolio. So I like to think of it as kind of like a visual LinkedIn account, right? So you can see this is Jeanette's account, obviously, but she created a couple portfolios for herself. If students want to use assignments, you know, projects that they're working on, or maybe you have them do a final project and they want to keep those and make them a portfolio, they can easily add them here. I'm happy to give you more information about PathBright, but if you decide to make your own account, sometimes it's cool as an instructor, you know, to make your own account kind of about yourself, right? And make a little page that's going to give them some information about you, things that you like and how you like to teach in class. So basically, it's just a drag and drop process where you can add images, files, web links, and then people can check them out. Kind of like social media, they also can, you know, choose to like it or comment. I'm going to like this for Jeanette and say, this is awesome. Okay, but it's something that's in here. You or your students may or may not choose to use it. Okay. This book icon will open up the entire ebook. So if you don't want to be looking through the interactive reader and you just literally want to hop through from page 0 to page 600, you can click through the ebook that way. And then the last thing that I really want to show you is the Progress app. So while all of your grades from MindTap are going to automatically feed into your Canvas gradebook, the Progress app does give you a little bit of cool analytics that you can't get anywhere else. So I don't have any students in my class, so I'm going to just show you a quick sample. But when you come in here, you'll have 4 different views. The first one will literally show you every assignment that you've got. It'll show you the overall score for your entire class, and you can click into each of these to see your individual student assignments and how they've done. The second tab is kind of the coolest thing. These are the analytics. So what you'll get here is a scatter plot where all of these little balls are your students in your class. And it'll show you, the percentage grades that they're getting on their SAM and their MindTap assignments. But the other thing that it's doing is it's calculating their engagement level. So the engagement level includes the amount of time that they've spent in their MindTap course, the number of times that they've logged in, and the percentage of activities that they've accessed. So activities, when we're talking about that, it could be videos that they're watching. All of the videos that are in the training will also be found within the pages of the ebook. So if they're watching videos in the ebook, if they're going through and they're working in their trainings, if you add any media, a video or a document, and students are accessing that, those will all count as activities, as well as things like flashcards and study tools. So here you can see the point of this, and this is kind of perfect for it, but if there's a student who's spending a lot of time in the course, checking out flashcards, they're reading the ebook, they're watching videos, and they're still not doing as well as the rest of the class, it really helps you to easily pick out that student and see who you might have to talk to, right? And maybe they need a little bit more time with you, maybe they need something explained in a different way, and it helps you figure that out. Likewise, if there's a student who, has like zeros on everything or very low grade on all of the assignments, they're barely getting things done, you can easily see, well, obviously, because they've only logged in one time and they've only clocked, 20 minutes out of, 3 weeks of the term in the course. So you can easily see where your students are at. Do you have any questions about these analytics? Okay, cool. The other thing you'll see in here is a classic gradebook. Maybe not as important to you because you can see your gradebook in Canvas as well. Okay, we have gone through most of that. Let me grab back to my PowerPoint to make sure I'm not forgetting anything. Okay, so I want to let you know, after this training, I know our time is up in like a minute. After the training, our Enterprise Digital Specialist, Cindy Bridges, who I think you were communicating with, would love to come on campus with all the instructors using this for the first time and, can do a kind of first day presentation with your students, go through some of the cool tools that they've got in the ebook, the flashcards, how they can work through their SAM assignments, answer any questions that they have, and also, check on and see how you're doing. So if you're open to that, we would love to schedule that with you. Do you think that's something that could help out? Cool. So I think Cindy's going to be emailing you and can definitely get that time. Do you know when you have your first class, or when students would be getting into MindTap the first time? That's correct. Mm-hmm. Tuesday, November 1st. Okay, great. And just remind me, what campus are you at? Virginia Beach? Charlotte. Okay. Cool. I'll let her know that that's your first day of class, and then she can get coordinated with you to see what time and everything, and hopefully that works out, because that's a really great thing, to have students kind of be walked through, learn about all the tools that they can use to get a good start to the semester. We also want to let you know that, as you're using this for that following term, we'll also check in with you weekly, just a quick email or a call if you like, to say, how are things going? Do you have any questions? Do you have any concerns, or, what's going along? And then at the end of the term, we're also going to conduct a survey, just a quick survey that you can answer, anything that worked well in the class, anything you might have concerns about, and the students as well. And we'll give you your students' results so you can see how they liked MindTap and kind of learn a little bit more about their experience as well. Does that sound good? Okay, cool. So we're at the very end. I just want to let you know that beyond MindTap on their computers, students also can download the MindTap mobile app for free, whether they have an iPhone or an Android. Using this, they can get updates on when their assignments are becoming due. They can study and play kind of like study games on the phone there. They can use their flashcards, and they can also download the ebook to their phone so that they don't have to use data and can read the text while they're on the go. If they're on the bus or the train, or waiting in a waiting room somewhere, they can read their homework. A document that I am going to give you as soon as we're done here. It's a Microsoft Word document that I made specifically for your school. I call this the Quick Start Guide for Students. It's going to walk students through the very few steps that they have to complete to get into the MindTap course. It has screenshots right here with your specific, ECPI canvas, so it's very, very clear. It's going to make sure, they have hints like enable your pop-ups so that when you're opening up assignments, you're not going to get that pop-up blocker error. And then it's got some getting started quick videos that will walk them through a lot of the tools that we just went over. So Cindy will be there in class, but this is also a great document that you can post to Canvas or email out so that students have this the entire term they're there. It's a quick video that I made, going through the ebook features, through their SAM assignments, pulling those reports to improve their grade, and then also how they can access their grades and check them out within the Progress app if they want to. And the directions for downloading that mobile app are here, as well as tech support information. So if they ever have a question, if they have any kind of issue that they might see, they have that information right here as well. Okay, so I'm going to email that to you. And if you see anything on here that you would want added, changed, moved around, I make this to instructor specifications. So if there's anything else that you think might be helpful for your students, I'm happy to add that there.